Hi, this weekend I watched Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, and the reason I'm almost laughing is because this is the third time I've had to start this review because I keep forgetting what the name of the film is. It's a fresh start for the Resident Evil series after Paul Thomas S. Anderson, Paul W.S. Anderson, he went through a telebod, had finished his previous run of movies with the inaptly named final chapter. We have a fresh creative team. We have new writers. We have Johannes Roberts in as a new director. New cast, new setting. So it goes back much more towards the roots of the video game series, with Raccoon City being a rundown ex-industrial town rather than a sprawling metropolis. A depopulated environment with the Umbrella Corporation moving out of its old headquarters and leaving the result of a ghost town. But the local police investigate a death at the nearby Spencer mansion and uncover that Umbrella has been performing all kinds of unholy experiments on people, leading to zombies and other sorts of monsters, with the government planning to destroy the town at dawn. The good parts are that Roberts appears to be consciously ripping off John Carpenter in terms of tone and style, music, even the font used in the titles is the same font that Carpenter used on almost all of his films. And if you're going to steal, steal from the best. So it immediately gives a very different tone. It doesn't have the hyperactive sci-fi unintelligible gibberish of the Anderson films. Here it's much more based in the lore of the games, apparently, and as such, the simpler, clearer approach, I think, very much works in its favour. The downside is that this approach involves using very worn tropes, very shop-worn, not necessarily cliche, but unoriginal story elements and character elements, and the result is that the film is eminently forgettable, as demonstrated at the start of the video. It's a struggle to remember what the film is actually called because the subtitle really has no relevance to the story. The performances are reasonable. No one is being stretched. No one is being challenged, although no one here is as bad as Mila Jovovich was or Sean Roberts as Albert Wesker. We have a new version of Albert Wesker who is a more of an expressive character. Kaya Scodelario and Hannah John-Kamen in the leads are perfectly fine. Robbie Amell is perfectly fine. No one is disgracing themselves. It's nice to have slightly more characterful performers like Donal Logue or Neil McDonough in supporting roles, rather than just the bland, superficial nonsense of the previous iterations. But it's because it's so bland, uh, in story terms, in character terms, it undoes all the work Roberts is doing in trying to revive and strip down the story. He strips it down to bare essentials, and those bare essentials are unfortunately not interesting enough. For all of the Anderson films' faults, they are at least full of stuff. There's even if the story isn't advancing any further, there's always some sort of mechanical gizmo or sci-fi twist or gubbins about clones or secret bases or all kinds of nonsense. Here, the idea of the secret base under the city is downplayed. It's not the colossal underground skyscrapers that Umbrella seem to have all over the globe and built over the course of seemingly only about 10 years in the Anderson films. Here, it's just one location and it's trying to be as realistic and as believable as possible. But as I say, the result is a film that is fairly bland, fairly anonymous, not incompetent by any means, but it winds up being one of Roberts' less interesting films. I still champion his sequel to The Strangers Pray at Night, which I thought was a terrific bit of stripped down horror. It had a bit of personality, it had a bit of originality in its style and presentation. That's missing here. I can see how that film would have landed in this job of Carpenterish suspense and thrills in a nighttime, semi-deserted location, but there's just not enough to work with. I'm really hopeful that Zach Cregger's upcoming reboot or sideways look at the franchise is a bit more successful. That is apparently a 90-minute thrill ride. So I'm hopeful that it's really going to capitalize on where the strengths of this franchise really work into the police aspect, the SWAT team versus zombies concept, and the suspense elements. Roberts is trying here, but succeeding is something else.